Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. I hope that you're all having a wonderful day out there. Thank you as always for clicking on the video and of course swinging on by, coming on through. What are we doing today? We're going to listen to this band Canarios. We're going to listen to this track, the first track off their album. Hold on, let me pull it back up. Ciclos. I imagine that just means cycles. Primera Transmigración, Paraiso, Remoto. I'm working on the Spanish a little bit. This is released in 1974. We are listening to this because it was suggested and sponsored by Wojciech. I believe that I pronounced your name correctly. I apologize if not, but I think that I got you correctly here. So thank you so much for the support and the recommendation. I've never heard of the band. I don't know a thing about them. I do think that album cover is pretty cool. Kind of got an Old Man Butterfly kind of seasons happening in here. Anyways, you said in your suggestion for this that ideally I would have listened to Vivaldi's Four Seasons, which fortunately we did cover some time ago. We watched a live performance of that. So I do have that knowledge a little bit in the back of my mind there. And I'm imagining, because I'm looking at the track listing and everything here, this is basically 4 long songs. Primera Transmigración, Segunda Transmigración, which is second, Tercera Transmigración, and then Cuarta. So it's just 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm just imagining, I'm assuming that means seasons. I could be wrong. Let me do a little quick translate. Remote Paradise, obviously, for the first part, which is what we're listening to. The second one, its subtitle is Near Abyss. Then the Future Environment for the third. And finally, the Recovered Link. And each of these has also some subsections within those as well. So we're going to take the first one. I could not find it on Spotify, so we'll be listening to it over on YouTube. So I'm going to pull up the album. The album's going to be it's going to be uploaded by the Terminal Passage YouTube channel, which if you've never checked out Terminal Passage, I highly recommend you do so. They upload a lot of great classic albums, a lot of underrated albums and such. So I'll go ahead and of course link that below. But let me go and pull it up right now. Let me get its pause before it starts. Full screen it for you guys. Bring you up to the full screen. And let's rock it out. It's like in a Zen position. Then you got another one over here. Some people over here. It's kind of cool. These elements dissonantly coming together. The building blocks. This opening kind of reminds me of, like, yes, the topographic oceans, like this section right here. That's really nice how that all that dissonance in the beginning is kind of slowly shifted into this. And either those are vocals or Mellotron right here.
Your cycle's just begun. Go, 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 go.
This is so interesting. For some reason, it reminds me of like Aphrodite's Child a little bit. That's cool. They bring in those little bits. I do like how they bring in the pieces. A drum solo. They made that part rock out. This really does feel like Yes to me, or sound like. Way to bring in that part. Nice Mellotron entrance. That is so cool how they do that. That was a great section there. They take those sections, they make them jam out. That Mellotron's doing great work. A Wakeman thing. When is this part? 12 minutes. We gotta remember that. That was a great little kind of climax here. Back to the fanciful. a lot of great like sections in here. Swing. This was a really cool, I don't even want to say cover of Vivaldi's for, oh, I just turned the volume down, of Vivaldi. This wasn't even like a cool cover. This was kind of something different. This was like inspiration and patchwork. Like you could obviously hear in there taking certain phrases, certain motifs, especially like some of those more outstanding ones and those more pronounced ones, and incorporating it into their music, which was really, really well done and really, really cool. Like, okay, and before I go any further, I know this is a more modern band. This kind of reminded me of like Trans-Siberian Orchestra and like kind of what they do. Anyways, but this was really interesting how they performed this, because it's definitely still within that instrumental prog style. Like this is definitely that, their foundation. But the way that they kind of, take a few inspiration and little moments and pieces from Vivaldi's Four Seasons and bring that in is really cool, because I think it's tastefully done, and I think that they still make it very much like their own. Like they're not just strictly covering it straight up; they're embellishing quite a lot on here, but that actually works really well. Like I didn't look at the exact time when it happened. I know I mentioned 12 minutes. That's one of my favorite moments here. But one of the melodies that comes in is a very strong melody from the original. And the way that they incorporate it within the beat and within the heaviness of the drums at that particular moment with the guitar was just really, really well done. Let's see if I can find it real quick. It was after that. Like this section. There you go. That's actually what I'm looking for. Perfect. Right after. Like the way that they incorporate that into that section and bring it into their own prog rock like direction, I think is really, really well done. And it's clearly very inspired. I think that the Mellotron is really awesome as well. Let me pull up the list of members here. And I did not expect there to be singing. So I'm a little off on that end here. But let me get all that pulled up so I can actually use names as to who's doing what. Okay, here we go. Let's see. You have Eduardo Teddy Bautista on keys, synths, the Mellotron, which we heard. And the Mellotron is pulling a lot of weight. It is constantly here. And I like the moments, few and far between that the Mellotron drops out. And you just have the rest of the band kind of going off. Or the Mellotron is just not used, but maybe you get some of the synths and other stuff. And then when that Mellotron comes back, it really does act as that symphonic edge to really push the rest of the band along. And that's what, to me, gives it a bigger, grander sound. I like the way that that's used here, kind of taking a little bit of the place of some of that symphony. And then you're going to have Christian Mellies on bass, some more synth theremin. You heard... I don't think it was theremin, but you heard that very high-pitched synth at the very end, which I thought was cool, kind of as a last return. Drums, Elaine Richard, really fun drums, and also handling percussion there. Let's try to find the vocals, though. Guitars by Antonio Garcia de Diago. The guitars were really fantastic, especially when not only just like playing over those lines from Vivaldi's original, but actually going off and like rocking out a little bit, right? Like he kind of goes off in certain moments. And a lot of the music, I mentioned it while I was playing, but certain moments in here really reminded me of Yes, and specifically of like the Topographic Oceans kind of era in that album. Like, and I was listening to the Remembering the other day. Maybe that's why I kind of have this fresh in my mind. But it kind of has that ethereal ambience, I would say, especially because of some of that keyboard work. But then it also like plays very direct. You know, Howe's guitar work is very distinct. And I think the guitar work and some of the keyboard work came across with that kind of nice distinction that kind of brought a classically edged focus into the music, clearly inspired here, that I really enjoy. The vocals were kind of a surprise, especially the first vocals that came were kind of operatic and kind of stopped on the music. And I do have the lyrics here now, which I know that there's a sonnet associated with the Four Seasons. This is not it. This is not it. So it seems that they've written their own lyrics towards it, which of course we'll go over. I want to give proper due where it is on who's handling the vocals. So I have Rudmini Sukhmawati. I've never heard the name Rudmini, so I don't know if that's a male or female name. If it's female, I'm assuming that that's the operatic vocals in the very beginning, which were kind of interesting in that they weren't like, in my opinion, they weren't perfect, overly polished, or anything like that. There was kind of just a rawness to them, which I enjoyed. It kind of kept things real in the music. And then I believe it's going to be Leandro Blanco who comes in and starts singing more towards inside the music, a little bit further in. And once again, I like the singing. It was more of a nice extra instrument in the music because this thing was really instrumentally focused. But I did enjoy the vocals when they came in. The first operatic vocals kind of took me off for a second because like, oh, the music just stops, and then we kind of have almost this scene setting, almost like a narrator kind of giving us direction as to what's going to be following. But then it gets right back into it, and it's really wonderful. But before I forget, let us mention this one moment that I thought was just stunning in this piece of music. Right around 12 minutes. I'll put it on a little bit before that. Now that. Oh, and see, that little synth is so Wakeman-esque. Very, very topographic. The weight of it all. Like, I just thought that was a brilliant kind of mid-track climax that was really, really wonderfully played, and the vocals perfectly kind of played into it. And for some reason, this is also kind of reminding me of Aphrodite's Child a little bit. Haven't honestly thought about them for a while, but this is kind of giving me a little bit of that. Okay, let's go ahead and look at these lyrics here. Now you are born, get up and walk, your cycle's just begun. Go, go, go. And of course, looking at the album cover, which I have here, I think it's bigger on YouTube probably. Like, you definitely get the cycles in the symbolism and the imagery around the aesthetic here. I would imagine this is spring, you know, life, and kind of see a little, there's like suggestive bodies in here. You know, you have the arms right here, the arms, head, body, another arm, body, kind of, to me, beginning of life. Can't quite tell what's going on here, but I see legs and maybe some wings or something. Maybe this is summer. To me, this is fall. Just doesn't look as vibrant and life-like over there. You know, you have a little fall going down here. Have some, I don't know about you, but this looks like hidden fertility, let's just say, and sustenance to me. Fall, 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 autumn, autumn, autumn. And of course, I see lays down here, a little death, do your part. Let's get into these lyrics. Let me do a translation. Can I do? Oh, this is in Spanish, but the lyrics are not. Once the cycle began, I might as well translate that. Can I? What button is that to translate? English. There we go. Give me the English. Hold on. I wanted it to translate the subtitles. It ain't. I know this is first vision of the new world. Okay, I can tell you that. Hinmo a la ammonia metasta. That I don't know. Once the cycle began, the prince was born somewhere among the nothingness. Once the edge of time came in through, leaving a groove in the universe where the programmer sowed the human seed. Once the ape turned to man, the earth became the world. Once the man chose his gods, gods chose their rules and laws to create liberty. I like that line. But freedom left when the world was born. First steps in a new world, extravagant metamorphosis. What does this one mean? After the first vision. Can I get a translation here? Prana, primal cry, and then Genesis. So, okay, so like the beginning of life. So it really is going after that spring cycle, basically. This is the first cycle, hence, of course, the start of life, spring. You guys know the symbolism. Okay, I got it. This was a really cool track. I think it was really cool how they took a lot of inspiration and the different motifs from Vivaldi's original and kind of brought it in here without just doing a direct note-to-note, make it proggy kind of cover. I really like how they actually made it their own. You know, I think it was well done. It's, of course, on that more bombastic, dramatic side of prog. That's, you know, like personally, I wouldn't listen to this a lot, but I did enjoy it, you know, if that makes sense. There's no dislike. Wojciech, thank you so much for the recommendation. Let me know what you guys, of course, thought of it in the comments down below. I appreciate you all being here, watching, hopefully finding something good and interesting as you're here. And I hope that you all come back tomorrow. Thank you for being here. I will see you all later. Bye, guys.